Hello YouTube, it's Ryan here with Hobbies of Man once again, and today let's do a review for chapter 53 of Kaiju number 8. I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible before the sun goes down and I'm left with only artificial light, but let's get into it. So chapter 53, there's no news. I can't think of anything new that happened related to the series in the last couple of days. Volume 5 has just come out. Apparently, Kaiju number 8 has been really good in terms of sales. For Japan, I think it was a top 10. I think it was in the 8th place in terms of how much it has sold, according to Omicron, if I remember correctly, or Omnicron, whatever the Japanese sales ranking information website is called. I can't remember. Now, I saw some people on Twitter, some people that do like information about sales on Twitter talking about it, and it's really good that, you know, Kaiju number 8 is doing really well. So that's really great. Hopefully we get an anime announcement soon. That's what I'm really looking forward to, but I don't know if it's going to be anytime soon. So yeah, in terms of recap here, let's talk about what happened in chapter 52. Basically, Mystery Sao was defeated. Number 9 took over his body, and you know, Kikoru didn't believe it, but you know, he showed her that it was him. And now number 9 is stronger. However, he has this kind of setback, which is the fact that whenever he fuses with someone, he basically loses half of his abilities for a while, which you could kind of argue is kind of like insects when they molt their skin, or when they, like, you know, get out of their old shells and start growing new ones. There's a time period when they're kind of basically defenseless because their shells or their exoskeleton isn't hard enough. And so that's kind of basically what's happening here. And I think it's really interesting, and kind of adds to this kind of alien vibe that the Kaiju have. And it kind of is interesting because they kind of basically take all of the best aspects of a lot of different species all around them. So pretty cool. This ability to fuse seems to be only Kaiju number 9's ability. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the case. Number 10 could have easily been able to fuse with a human, and of course Kafka is the result of a kaiju infecting him, right? So basically there's two different instances of fusing and one instance of possible fusion, right? And yeah, number 9 says he has got to retreat, but of course Kafka and Narumi don't let him do so, right? And that's basically what happened in the previous chapter. Let's talk about chapter 53. I do want to say that I didn't do this chapter review before because I was away on vacation. So there you go. That's why. But yeah, chapter 53 has 25 pages or 24 pages. I don't know. It depends on whether you're reading it on your phone or you're reading it on the computer. It kind of tells you a different page number. But yeah, so it basically starts with Kikoru, and she's kind of laying on the ground. She's kind of hopeless because she sees number 9, and she can't do anything about it because, you know, he basically killed her dad, and she is kind of beating herself up over the fact that, you know, she's hopeless. She's hopeless / helpless. Basically, she can't do anything. She's just on the floor, kind of sobbing, right? Kafka and Narumi keep ragging on number 9, but it's basically keeping them at bay very easily. It's not really having any issues, right? But Kafka is saying that it's too strong, and number 9 tries to, you know, retreat. He tries to leave because of his you know, kind of fusing detriments, the problems that he's having right now because he just fused with someone. But you know, they're trying to keep him from leaving, and randomly his arm falls off, and Narumi sees that and sees that, you know, there's a weakness here, and he basically tells Kafka to not let up, to continue to attack. And you know, that's what they continue to do. Narumi attacks with one of his you know, like, what's it called, Sharingan attacks. I don't know what to call it. Like one of his ultra powerful numbers attacks that he has. Where he like sees the weak points and stuff like that, and it finally hits. It finally lands, and number 9 can't harden because of his fusing detriments, his post fusing setbacks, basically, because he just fused with Mr. Shinomiya, and you know, he kind of just takes it. He tanks it, And he kind of dismisses Narumi and says, my real problem here is number 8. Kafka is a problem for number 9. Basically because they're basically at the same power level, as far as I understand it. I think Kafka can go farther than number 9, but he hasn't really done that because Kafka has never had to, test the limits of his power. And Kafka sees Kikoru crying, and he gains some resolve, and he's like, "I won't let you get away," and he continues to attack. Number 9 has a slow regen going on right now because of the same thing. His effects are worsening because his regen is slow, so the effects that are affecting his body are happening faster without being able to regen. So he's basically losing a battle with his own body. And he says, number 8 has to die. Or he doesn't say that, but he kind of gives this impression that, it's time to kill Kafka. And, they all charge up for a final attack, right? Kafka and Narumi are like, okay, this is it. Let's do it. Let's beat this guy. And number 9 starts to charge up. He kind of lifts, like, flaps in his skin. And you get to see, like, light coming out of him. So he's charging up one of these powerful burst attacks that Mr. Shinomiya was using. And he basically explodes himself, which is really interesting. But of course, he can regen, so he's not really exploding himself, or like the situation that occurs because he explodes himself is really not as bad as it would be for anyone else. And he basically beats back Kafka and Narumi. And number 9 is barely alive. He basically just has his torso and some wings that he grew. He doesn't have his lower body, right? And he thinks that Kafka and Narumi are dead. Kikoru thinks the same thing. They're being blocked by smoke, and of course the smoke clears, and Narumi and Kafka are there holding their own. Now, I'm curious to see if this is because Kafka somehow managed to protect Narumi within the smoke, and Narumi just didn't notice, or if it's literally just Narumi was able to block it. Kafka definitely has the ability to block because he's not in danger. He doesn't have any major wounds, so he can regen as much as he needs to in order to withstand the block, right? So it's not that big of a deal for Kafka, but it is kind of a big deal for Narumi. And they survive. Number 9 is kind of curious, kind of upset that they didn't die. And then he's like, this is what he should have done. He has this epiphany moment, and he just shoots like lasers from his mouth at Kikoru and at Mr. Shinomiya's tech advisor guy, his like aide. And Kafka and Narumi have to go protect them. And number 9 philosophizes about how humans are so weird because they do this. They can't allow people to die if they're in front of them or something like that. Kind of the virtues of humanity, although from his eyes they're kind of weaknesses. And he turns into Mystery Sao as he starts to fly away. And he says goodbye, and then he says, next time I see you will be the start of the Kaiju era. And that's where the story ends for now. And it was really, really good. I really liked it a lot. I think it's really interesting. We're not really in an endgame scenario by any means, but we're definitely ramping up. I'm curious to see, if number 9 is going to do some kind of politically, some political situations occur with other kaiju. If he's going to bring in more numbers kaiju, like, number 11, number 12, 13, 14, 15, so on. Or if he's just going to be the main villain for the rest of the story. I really much doubt that. I think that he's still very much an early villain. He doesn't really have the... he doesn't really have the presence, the power, the, massiveness that would really kind of mean a big bad for a series. But I'm not really sure. He might be. This might be more of a Dragon Ball Z kind of situation where the big bad just kind of continuously revives and is back around and stuff like that. So I don't know. But overall, very, very excited to see where it goes. I don't really have any new theories. I can't really think of anything that you could really theorize for based on what we saw. So that's basically all I have for you guys today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you guys think about this new Kaiju era starting and, what it means for the story. So, yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys later.